coaches who are on this call too. Coaches are already asked to do so much, and now we're piling a whole bunch more onto our coaches. So thank you. We don't take what you do for granted. We really appreciate it. And as Susan said, I continue to urge you to put questions in the chat and we'll answer them as we go. So thanks. Susan, take it away.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you so much, Megan. We will go ahead and get started without further ado. Sorry, give me one second. There we go. Okay. So our 21 spring season is, we're going to make some changes on things. As Megan mentioned, it's kind of crazy to think we've been in this situation for about a year now. I think it was a year to the date that we canceled state basketball last year, which kind of started everything off. So we are so excited to have wrapped up the winter season, so happy that it worked out, and so excited to be able to bring you more for the spring season. So I think I want to just remind everybody that we want to challenge everybody. We want to persevere and triumph. And I think that's those words have really kind of spoke about our winter season, and I look forward to carrying that throughout the year. I will go through a few changes, a few updates. We're just going to go through the slideshow. Don't worry, you won't have to listen to me the whole time. We've got some other folks that will be on here talking as well. So we will have all SoCo guidelines and COVID guidelines will be enforced, and that will be included but not limited to masks being worn at all times by anyone that's at practices. We will be following the sport-specific COVID best practices, which we will have those updated on our webpage for the spring season. And you always want to make sure you're adhering to the facility guidelines. If the facilities guidelines are stricter than the SoCo ones, then you guys will need to be following those guidelines. Due to the loosening up of restrictions, we are opening up outside practices and competition to groups of maximum of 25. So that's going to include your athletes, your unified partners, your coaches, your assistant coaches, or volunteers. Anybody that you have will be a maximum of 25 in the outside area. For those of you that are training inside, that maximum number has been increased to 15. So that's not quite the same amount of that 25, but we do want to keep that smaller, especially knowing that it is inside. All the spectators must abide by the rules for each event and sport. And again, we will be able to provide some PPE kits, which I'll touch base on in a few minutes with how we're going to get that information from you. All right. All right, so the very first thing I want to talk about is something that we've added new this year, and hopefully it's something that's going to make all of our lives a little bit easier. It's going to be our spring season interest form. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. So you'll just click on this link right here, and it will hopefully, perfect, open up this link right here. We're just looking for a little bit of information from you. This is just to simplify the communication to make sure we get everything we need from you. We want to know if you're a new team or returning team, your team name, what region you're in. If you're not sure what region you're in, you can click right here. And this will take you right to our map on our website that will show you what region you're in. And then we want to know what sports you're participating in. Basic contact information. Most of you who have had teams in the past should have received your updated medical and Class A deadlines. If you have new folks on the roster, we're going to ask that you list those folks in number 8. If you find it to be easier just to send your regional manager an Excel spreadsheet of any new coaches or athletes, that works as well, okay? We're asking for your practice dates, times, and locations on here, so we have that. We want to give a friendly reminder to fill out your COI, so that's a question on here as well. And then we do want to make sure that you're aware of all the COVID guidelines that Special Olympics Colorado has put into place for the safety of everybody, coaches, athletes, families, everybody. We want to make sure that you're following those protocols. And if you need some extra support on that, please reach out to us and we can help out with that. Number 13 is going to be applicable to the PPE kits. So in the summer, we provided PPE kits that included a lot of these items on here. If you need some of those items, you'll just go ahead and check those. Swim coaches, if please check this box. If you're coaching swimming, we'll be providing some additional items to you for the PPE kit as well, okay? And then just a general question of kind of what your plans are at this point about attending a competition. Obviously, it's not set in stone. We'll continue to communicate with you throughout the season as things change. This is just a general question so that we can start to have an idea of what to plan for as well. Okay, so those of you that are looking to get things done right away, you can hop right on as soon as we email this form out to you, or this presentation out to you, and go ahead and get that filled out. The sooner we have that filled out, the better chance, the better information we'll have so that we can go ahead and continue to plan our seasons. Okay. Next up, or just as a reminder, and as Megan said, we really want to make sure everyone's safe out there. That's our number one priority right now. As I mentioned, we will be providing return to practice guidelines. That'll be general as well as sports specific. And then as a reminder, high-risk individuals are encouraged not to participate in person. You guys have all this information. This is the same information that we've shared in the past, and then as well as our COVID resources that we'll continue to update on our COVID page. Okay. The next piece, the required COVID paperwork process. So these are the forms. These are links to the forms here. At the beginning, at the first week of each practice, each person on the team, this is coaches as well, will need to submit one of these waivers, okay? This will need to be submitted to your regional manager after that first week. After that, the item that you'll still need to do each week is the sign-in sheet. So the sign-in sheet will include name, birth date, general information, as well as if they've been around anyone that's sick, this is where you'll mark down the temperature takes, etc. Okay. Before I move on to that, did we have any questions in the chat that I'll need to address that would be helpful for everybody? Next up, we will be having we do have a level 1 coaching orientation. This is just a reminder that in June of 2020, we did roll out a one-time training, which is going to be required during everyone's renewal process. It's an educational tool for new coaches, and it's a really great refresher for some experienced coaches. Okay. In that, we cover Special Olympics Colorado as an overview. We cover coaching Special Olympics athletes. There's a piece on unified sports, the competition and team management, as well as health and wellness. And for those of you that have gone through it, I know we've got some experienced coaches on here. So for those of you that have gone through it, if you have any input or feedback regarding the content, please email Jenny Montoya, and her email address is on here as well. And that will be able to, she would love to get feedback from you guys on what that sounds like, or what this training, how it works for you guys. Okay. Next up, I will go ahead and turn things over to Adrian.
Thanks, Susan. All right, so you guys are familiar with this process, but it's everybody's favorite nonetheless. It's athlete applications and Class A forms. So you all as coaches should have received any outstanding paperwork needs from your regional managers last week. So reflected on there are any upcoming expiration dates on Class A's for unified partners and coaches, and then athlete applications and medicals for any of your athletes. It is important to get all of these completed prior to attending a regional competition. Anybody without valid or up-to-date Class A or athlete paperwork on file come a regional competition will not be able to participate. The same will apply for state competitions. We are hoping that we catch all of these prior to regionals so that at state it doesn't become an issue. So please be sure to get that process going early on. We want to give you guys as much ample time to review all these applications and expiration dates so your families can get moving on it prior to a regional competition. So please encourage them to start proceeding in that process. If you have any questions along the way, or if you have any family members who need additional support, please do reach out to your regional manager, and we will support them as best as we're able and get them through the process so that they have active paperwork on file with us prior to competitions. Ideally, we would like to have everybody with completed paperwork prior to the start of the season and prior to their first practice. as you guys are aware, any injuries that take place during a practice or competition, we, through our insurer, can cover any expenses after their individual's insurance covers their costs. So any remaining balances, we are able to support through the Class A and the athlete application. If they have an expired athlete application or Class A, we are not able to support them. So for those reasons, it's important to go through this process and get your paperwork completed prior to any competition or practice. All right, next slide. Couple other reminders. So we have our certificates of insurance, or COIs. Many of you are required by your facilities to submit a COI reflecting insurance is covered on that facility. We at Special Olympics can support you with that. All you need to do is provide any proof of that to, or any requests of that to your regional manager, and we will be able to process that accordingly. It takes about a week to submit and process any COIs. So please do reach out to your regional managers if you have any needs in that area. Reach out to your facility before you, your facility contacts before you get going in your first practice, just to make sure that you don't need it. If you do, we will support you and be able to get that squared away for you. Then the other area is collection and submission of any in-kind facility discounts. So this is a really big opportunity area for us. This will affect our bottom line, to be honest. If you on the coaching side can request any in-kind donation provided by your facilities, your practice facilities, whether that be a reduced rate in the cost of your venue for practices or a full-on donation in the value of their facility expense. That just needs to be provided in an email copy to the regional manager, and then we can get that reflected in our in-kind monetary amounts that we receive from donations throughout the year, and then also provide an acknowledgement to the venue reflecting the value of their in-kind donation to your team. So if you receive $50 off on your pool space that you will have for this upcoming season, those are things that we would love to know ahead of season so that we can reflect that accordingly on our books. So if you have any questions on that, please do reach out to myself or regional manager, and we will be able to support you through that process. But something to keep in mind as you move forward going into your seasons.
Awesome. Thank you, Adrian. I wanted to touch base quickly on something also that Megan mentioned, and just a question I want to throw out there if you guys have taken the plunge yet. If you have, great. It was, I think the Denver one was a huge success. The weather was beautiful. We're pretty happy it was last weekend and not this weekend. But don't worry if you haven't done it, it's not too late. There's still a few in-person plunges left with some 5Ks as well. I know many of you guys had some athletes that were doing the New Year, New You challenge. This might be a perfect time to get them out, walking and doing a 5K as well. And if that's not your speed, don't forget there are options of virtual plunges as well. There is a little bit of snow coming this weekend, apparently. I'm not sure if you've heard. It could be a great time. I'm already trying to plot how I'm going to find myself in a few feet of snow if possible. So check out our website, www.specialolympicsco.org/plunge for all the information. You'll get information on how to sign up for the ones that are in person, as well as information on the virtual options. So be sure to check that out if you have not done so. Next up, we've got something super exciting coming up. I'm going to turn the microphone and camera over to Jenna so she can go over the next challenge that Special Olympics will be doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Hey everyone, so I am here to chat about our next big upcoming challenge, the Sona Move Challenge. So this is actually going to be one of the longest challenges we have offered so far. So it is going to be 8 weeks long, and it's a movement-based challenge. So you are going to see how many minutes of exercise you can complete each week. So really all you have to do is move. You can dance, you can go for a run, you can go for a walk, you can play your sport. Really the possibilities are endless. And it will actually have 3 components. So there will be an individual component, and individuals will earn prizes. And so anyone that signs up will also be considered an individual, whether they also are signing up with their team and region information as well. I'll explain those in a second, but everyone will be an individual. So no one is counted out of the prizes that I'll talk about in a little bit. And all we're asking is that you complete 150 minutes of movement for 7 of the 8 weeks of the challenge. So throughout the 8 weeks, you can miss up to 7 days pretty much of movement, and you will qualify for a prize. We also are adding something new into this challenge that we really haven't done with the other ones, and that is a team component. So you guys, athletes, coaches, you are encouraged to get your entire team signed up if possible, and have you guys participate as a team as well. So when you are registering, just make sure you indicate what team you're on. So if you're on Blue Dragons, Cherry Creek Swimming, the list goes on and on. And we will be posting weekly team leaderboards. So those will go on our Facebook page, and we'll see which team is on top each week. And then fun thing right here, the team that comes out on top is able to choose which time they compete at the 2021 State Summer Games. So super exciting. That's why you should get your team signed up. And then we're going to also be looking at how the regions are doing. So each week we're going to add up the minutes and see which region is on top. And once again, we'll post a weekly leaderboard for that. So just some fun little inter-squad, inter-region competitions as well for this. And then next slide. Awesome. So who can participate? Anyone. So athletes, coaches, parents, caregivers, volunteers, unified partners, and community members. Everyone is welcome to participate. The registration will open up on March 22nd, and it's going to close on April 16th. So lots of time to sign up for this challenge this time around. And then the challenge will run from April 12th through June 6th. So that is when your minutes are actually going to count. So after registering, you can track your minutes Monday through Sunday. And then every Monday by 8 p.m., we ask that you self-report your minutes via that link right there. No need to memorize or anything. If you sign up, you'll get reminders about it. And then we'll post leaderboards on Tuesdays. We also will have a paper tracker for you, so you can keep track of those on paper throughout the week, and then you can go in at on Monday or Sunday evening, whenever you want to do it, and you can digitally put those in for us. Right now it is not on our website because we have our March Madness Challenge coming up, but as we get closer to the start date, you can visit our website right there. So specialolympicsco.org/wellness challenges, and you'll be able to see all this information that I'm talking about right here. And then that is the URL to register. But once again, that doesn't open until March 22nd. So right now, if you were to go and click on it, you're not going to see anything, unfortunately. So you'll just have to wait until March 22nd, and then you can get signed up. Next slide, please. Awesome. So here are the prizes. Look at this, guys. This is like the most we've ever done. This is so exciting. So everyone who signs up is going to receive a registration packet. It's going to have details of the challenge, information that on like what we're doing every week in case you're not on social media. The social media is not a requirement to do our challenges. And then we're also going to throw in some fun SoCo shoelaces for you guys as well. So you can lace up your shoes in SoCo style and move with this challenge. At the halfway point, all the participants who are regularly submitting their weekly minutes will receive some Nike socks, a SoCo branded sweatband, and a collapsible water bottle. So make it to halfway, submitting your minutes, and you're going to get that awesome reward. And then if you make it to the end and you submit at least 150 minutes for 7 of the 8 weeks, you'll receive a really awesome Move Challenge t-shirt. It is a red tie-dye t-shirt. I'm hoping to get the design here soon so I can share it with you guys. The t-shirt was actually picked out by some of your fellow athletes, which is really fun. And then fun perks, some Finish Line shoes. However, the reason there's a little asterisk by it is there are a few things that go with that as well. So I will dive into that in just a second. So next slide. All right. So the Finish Line Youth Foundation shoe giveaway. So Finish Line will be providing their signature shoe giveaway program called Fit Forward at Summer Games in Denver. So those who are eligible to get these awesome sneakers, you must be an athlete. Number one. Sorry, coaches, you guys are also super awesome, but this is for the athletes. And then you must complete 150 minutes of movement for 7 of the 8 weeks of our challenge. And then you must be able to attend Summer Games, the event in Denver, to be properly sized and pick up your shoes. So you actually have to be present to get these shoes, because Finish Line volunteers and employees are going to be sizing your feet so that you are getting the proper shoe for you. And so that's why you have to be present to get the shoes. So it's just a little additional perk. Next slide. Awesome. So like I said, you must be present at Summer Games in Denver, even if you're not competing in Summer Games. So if you did the challenge, you're going to want to show up to receive your shoes, because Finish Line wants to ensure that all athletes receiving their shoes are properly fitted in order to ensure maximum comfort and performance. So they want to make sure you are in the correct shoe for you. And then at the Fit Forward event, athletes are paired one-on-one with an expert Finish Line employee who will size, fit, and provide the best fitting sneaker for you. This may include multiple sizes per athlete, if you have 2 different size feet, or multiple widths and lacing options. So they're really going to make sure your shoe is tailored to you and fits you properly, which is why you need to be present, because they need your feet to do that. And don't worry, we're going to be following all the COVID guidelines at that time and making sure everyone is safe during this process. And if you're unable to receive the sneakers, that is okay, because you're going to get all the other awesome prizes I already listed. So there's still lots of good things available to you. And I think that is it for my slides.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenna. I'm going to move on then, unless we want to take a break for any questions. We'll go ahead and move on. Some of you may or may not have seen this. There is a great new video we have out. So bear with me for 1 second. I want to make sure that we've got the sound going right before I get this played. We're going to show this and then get right into the spring season. So give me 1 second.
Hey, Susan, maybe unshare and reshare just with the sound.
There, okay, yep, sorry.
No.
Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I knew there was a button I forgot to click. I'll start it over.
It's even good.
Everybody. All right. Well, if that doesn't get you excited for the spring season, I don't know what does. But we'll go ahead and hop right into it. I'm going to start with athletics, which is also track and field. Our training season will be March 29th through June 4th. Again, teams can practice outdoors in groups.
Going here in a second.
All right,
Sorry, what
perfect.
was it?
Hi guys, I'm Coach Denise. I coach the Spectrum Skyhawks. I was logged on the first few weeks, so I see a lot of.
Sorry about that. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Okay. So again, back in our training session will be March 29th through June 4th, and we'll be in groups of 25 or fewer, unless your county restrictions state differently. Of course, if it's a fewer number, if your county is stating fewer numbers than that, then you'll go with that fewer number. We will be hosting a few regional events. Entries will be due April 19th for that. If you are interested in hosting an event on your own, your inter squad event, this is where you would have your team competing against each other. We'd ask that you do that May 2nd through May 9th. And we can provide ribbons for that and some support for that as well. We do plan on hosting 3 regional events. We'll host one in Grand Junction at Stoker Stadium on May 2nd, one on May 8th at Rangeview in Denver, and then we will be also hosting one down in the Southeast, and that date is still to be determined. Due to, and just kind of to go back a little bit, the time trial format, it's going to look a little different than most events. All teams won't show up at one time and compete. Your team will be broken up into probably a few different groups, depending on the size of your team. You'll be given a time slot where you'll check in, and then you'll go through and compete in your events. For the sake of the flow of the event, we are going to be offering only a certain amount of events. So we'll be doing the 50-meter walk or run, the 100-meter walk or run, the 400-meter run. We'll be doing throwing events that would be shot put or softball throw. I apologize, I left tennis ball throw off of here. That's an option as well. And then we'll also have an option of doing a jumping event, and that would be standing or the running. Similar to in the past, if an athlete's doing walk events, they'll have to do both walking events. And if they're doing run events, they'll do running events. As we get closer, I'll go through and determine which events and how the layout's going to look for the day of. Your team will compete together. They'll go through, they'll compete in each event, and then they will receive their award at the end of the time trials. There'll be a certificate with their events and their times and distances on it, as well as a blue ribbon for that day as well. So that's the regional is going to look a little different, and that's the format that will take. We will be offering a state summer games. Athletics will be part of that. Again, it's going to look different, and I'll touch base a little bit more on that. But entries will be due May 12th, and we will be offering healthy athletes at this. Strong Minds will be a piece of it, as well as some fun fitness that we're going to add to this as well. So as Megan said, we're very excited to be back at you, in front of, in person with everybody. We won't have all the bells and whistles that we usually do, but we're going to make it as robust and as fun as possible. At this point, we'll also be following a time trial format with a different awarding process. We will use the scores from regionals to division people based on that, and then their scores will kind of slide backwards into their divisions to figure out what awards everybody gets. We will be hosting one in the Front Range in the Denver area. That'll either be June 5th or 19th. And then we will also be hosting one in Grand Junction at the CMU track as well. So that is the information about athletics. Moving on to gymnastics. Again, the training season will be March 29th through May 9th. Since most of you will be practicing inside, your teams will need to break up into groups of 15. The only regional competition that we'll have will be the inter squad competition that you'll be hosting. And then we are looking to have a small competition in May as well. So those of you that are gymnastics coaches, the sooner you guys can hop in and fill out that seasonal interest form, the sooner we'll be able to kind of get all these pieces to fall into place. And I know there are some new gymnastics teams out there as well. So it's super exciting, and we're looking to have a great event. The way we run it, it's going to really just depend on the number of athletes and what restrictions are at this point. Most likely, it'll be similar to what we're going to be doing with track and field. Small groups will come in, they'll exit, they'll leave, we'll wipe everything down, and the next group will come in. Okay. Next up will be powerlifting. We will be hosting a regional competition around the early April time period, which is when that normally is. So for you powerlifting coaches, the season will look pretty similar to what it is. The way that event will work, again, will be based on the number of athletes that we do have. We will have a state competition. We are looking to see if we can pair it with our athletics and soccer event so we can have a little bit more of a feel for summer games, but there are just a few pieces we need to work out with that. So as soon as we have that date set, we will go ahead and share that with everybody as well. And soccer, we at this point, teams can be practicing in groups of 25. If any of you were basketball coaches or were around during the basketball season, we did an at-home basketball kit, which was a basketball and some cones. And then we provided some virtual practices and opportunities for those athletes. We're gonna be doing the same thing for soccer. So please share this with your teams. If you have someone that's maybe never tried soccer before and they're interested in it, this could be a good chance for them to try it out as well. So that link is right on here as well. We will be offering an all-star skills challenge similar to what we did in basketball. And that'll be released soon. We're working on some final details about that. But I think the most exciting piece is that if I'm by myself, I can go ahead and do the individual challenges. But if I'm out there practicing with one of my teams, then I will be able to do, there will be some team challenges. For example, how many passes can they get in a row without trapping the ball or stopping it? How quickly can they dribble a certain number of soccer balls, 20 meters? So there'll be some pieces in that as well. So while it will be a skills challenge, that will be interactive as a team. We will be hosting our state event with our track event. That'll be either June 5th or the 19th. The format of what that will look like will be determined by the amount of teams playing. And what we're gonna do in soccer, with it being a team sport, is plan to circle back with our coaches mid-season to kind of determine the final plan and see how practices are going and pieces like that. Okay, on to swimming. Swimming, we do have groups practicing in, teams practicing in groups of 15 or less. Again, as I mentioned, we will be working on extra COVID, a COVID kit for you that will include extra masks so that an athlete can have one at each end. Best practices, face shields for coaches in case they need to be in the water. And then regional and state events will be events that you guys will host with your team. So you'll be hosting inter squad events, again, which we can provide ribbons and support for, as well as you'll be hosting a state event. So Special Olympics Colorado is not going to be hosting a state swimming portion, any swimming events during this season. We talked through a lot of possibilities, and the logistics of it was just going to be a little bit too unsafe in our opinion to ensure that we could make sure everybody is safe as well. Okay. Any questions on any of those pieces, on the sports, on what the seasons look like, any of those items? Great. Next up, souvenirs. As you may or may not know, since we're not selling souvenirs in person, we did open up a store, and the link is on there for our website. We will have some new items coming soon. If you have some ideas on things you would like, go ahead and toss those in the chat for us. We're open to suggestions on that. And we will, stay tuned, we will be offering some items that are specific for summer games that you'll be able to pick up at summer games. So there'll be a spot where you can check that you'd like to pick them up. At summer games, there'll be a table where you stop to pick them up and grab them on your way out. Unfortunately, we won't have the full spread like we usually do, just to avoid congregating and the safety of everybody. So I encourage you to check out our website, check out the new items we have, and stay tuned for more coming on that as well. The Summer Games celebration. If you are not familiar with our Champions Highlight Show, I would suggest head over to YouTube and check out our Champions Highlight Show on our YouTube channel over there. It was something that we started last year at Summer Games and has caught on. I'll do a special plug this Saturday at 7 p.m. We'll be wrapping up our winter season with the Champions Highlight Show, and just kind of got through the cut of that today, and it's pretty exciting. So even if you're not a part of winter sports, it's a great way to get you excited for your spring sports. The date for the Champions Highlight Show for the spring season will be determined once we finalize the date for the Front Range event. Again, this will be highlights from each sport. We do athlete interviews. If you have photos or videos or anything from practices, I've included the Dropbox link in here so you guys can share it in there. And we know summer games won't be necessarily the same as it always is. It won't be the trip to Grand Junction. It won't be the overnight, staying in the dorms, all those fun pieces. However, we're committed to making sure it's still an important and valuable and memorable experience. We'll be having an opening ceremonies, victory dance, family reception, VIP reception, young athletes and awards pickup. Some of those pieces will be virtual. Some of that stuff will be able to be in person. So stay tuned for all of that, but we definitely want to do what we can to make sure that we celebrate the successes of the athletes as we typically do out in Grand Junction. Here is the link for any of the spring sports that you have. You can go ahead and drop those in there in Dropbox so that we can use those for the Champions Highlight Show. In addition to that, we also add all of the pictures that are loaded there to a Flickr album that'll be shared on our website as well. And the next piece I want to touch base on is June 5th through the 12th in 2022 in Orlando. The USA Games will be taking place. So at this time, we have a pretty big team planning on going with unified partners as well as coaches. And I just wanted to go ahead and list the sports that we plan on taking athletes in. So just kind of keep that in mind. Once we finalize some more details on that, we will reach out to you, especially those coaches that are specifically coaching these sports, to ensure that you have all the proper information and to ensure that we'll have our athletes prepared and trained and ready to go for 2022. Okay. And just before we get to questions, I just want to, again, echo what Megan said and really thank all of you coaches for putting in the extra effort. We wouldn't be able to be putting on these events if you guys weren't there doing all the paperwork, extra paperwork, taking the temperatures, asking all the questions. You guys are really the reason why we're able to get back out in the playing field. And I think that is it's just such a testament to the amazing group of coaches that we do have. So we're very excited to be back in person this spring. We're very excited to make things happen. We're going to do everything we can to keep everybody safe. Please be flexible with us as we go through this. Like I said, this is our ideal plan, and hopefully we can move forward with it. If for any reason we need to scale back on things, please understand that whatever decisions we're making is for the safety of our athletes, of you, of volunteers, of families, of everyone that is involved. So I'll go ahead and I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And if we want to open things up to any questions that we had or anything that came through in the chat that would be helpful to share. We did do a recording of this, so we will be sending that out as well as posting this on social media tomorrow. For anyone that wasn't able to make it tonight or missed any pieces of it as well.
Susan, one question that came through was the number of events that an athlete can do in track and field.
Yep. So at this time, we are going to probably have, and again, I say probably, so thanks for your flexibility. Most likely they'll pick 2 track events, and then everyone will have the chance to be in a throwing event, and everyone will have the chance to be in a jumping event. So that would be 4 events total that everyone would have the chance to be in if they so choose to.
Oh, sorry. If you want, will you show the USA Games slide again, Susan?
Yes, I can. Give me 1 second to get back to it. Oops.
And to answer the mask question, yes, we are asking that everyone, whether you are vaccinated or not, wear masks. That currently is best practice. It's also following our state and county guidelines. Should anything change, let us know. Also, if someone has a medical reason why they cannot wear a mask, by all means, please let your coach and us know.
Yep, perfect. And here's the slide again in regards to USA Games. So again, for those of you, obviously the sports that we're looking at for this season are athletics, powerlifting, swimming, and soccer. So once we get some more information on some of these pieces, we'll reach out and get in touch with all the coaches of these sports to make sure that you know all the information ahead of time. There will be different categories, different levels for athletics and swimming particularly, so that might affect the event decision that some of your athletes are making. Those are all pieces that we will have out to you over the next few weeks before the season and the competitions take place. So you'll be able to make decisions based on that.
And Susan, there were a few questions on the dates, soccer having a regional and or just state, sorry.
Yep, soccer will
the date
have
of-
one competition. We will just be doing the state competition that will take place in the Denver area. There will also be one in the Grand Junction area, pending our number of athletes that we have out there.
And then can you remind of the dates of summer games?
Yep, sorry. It will either be June 5th or the 19th on the Front Range. And in Grand Junction, it will be June 12th. And again, we're just waiting back for a couple confirmations on those. And as soon as we get that, you guys will have that information as soon as we get it. Great. Well, if there are no other questions, feel free to stay on if you have some questions. You can unmute yourself as we're getting to the end of things. But again, if you have any other questions, feel free to give a holler. Regional managers are always available. I'm always available. Again, we really just appreciate your flexibility. You're willing to jump in and help us out to make a season happen, which I think is really exciting. So thanks, everybody.
Susan, one quick question was, what about the triathlon? Answer that.
Oh, yep. The triathlon, and I reached out to the triathlon coaches. I believe I did. We are going to push that back to the fall. It is typically paired with our summer games. It just wasn't, I don't think, going to work this year. I think for the sake of trying to have an in-person event, we're going to push that back to the fall. Our health and wellness team is working on a training plan, and that training plan will start right around Memorial Day. So we'll be sharing that out with you guys probably early May if you plan to use our training plan.
I want to close. I want to thank Susan very, very much for all of the work that's put into this. I also want to mention just a quick kind of structural update that might be helpful for everybody to be aware of. So to hopefully make things easier for our coaches and our regional managers, we have Susan, who's overseeing our sport and competition department. And then Adrian, who you heard from earlier, is our Denver regional manager and is also overseeing regional services. And the hope is so that Adrian and our amazing regional managers can kind of focus on relationship building with coaches and athletes, and Susan can focus on sport and competition, which all of these team members are so great at what they do. And so I think it gives them the ability to do what they do in a more focused way. And then hopefully also for you as coaches and athletes, know who that point of contact is and hopefully make your experience even better. So thank you so much to Susan for all of the work that has gone into making this possible. And thank you so much to the regional managers who really are there as your day-to-day point of contact when you have anything. I see a question about how to sign up as an athlete, any coaches questions you have, your regional managers, Adrian, Michelle, Tasha, and Elizabeth, if you haven't met Elizabeth in the Northeast region, are really there to answer any of those questions and be there for you in any way that you need there. So amazing team. Thank you guys. All right, I'll see any more questions then.
Thanks, everybody. Again, if you have any questions and you want to stay on for a few minutes, I'm happy to stay on and answer those. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again for joining us. I know there's a lot going on, so we really appreciate your time and energy that you always give to Special Olympics. So much appreciated. Thanks to all of you. Enjoy the rest of your evening and your snowy weekend.
Hi, this is Jessica Rowe. How are you?
Hey, Jessica.
Hey, I just had a quick question. We're doing a soccer team and in South Metro Denver. Unfortunately, we have a college tour for our older kids, like the same weeks that in June are the finals or the state competition. So when you were saying that the date is June 5th or 19th, but for sure the 19th on the western slope, could you just explain that to me a little bit better so that we can explain to our co-coach when we'll not be here and when that person will need to take over?
Definitely. June 12th is the date we have secured on the western slope,
June
for
12th,
sure.
okay.
And yep. And so right now the Denver dates will
5
be
or
June
19.
5th
Okay.
or the 19th. It'll be one of those 2 dates.
Okay, and do they have to like make it out of a Denver competition to then go to the Grand Junction one, or?
Nope. And actually that's a great point. I should have mentioned that sooner, and we'll put some of that in the follow-up. We're not allowing any overnight travel right now. So that's the reason for the 2 different ones. So the folks on the Front Range will attend the Denver event. And just to be clear, everything will take place either on June 5th or on June 19th. It's not one of those 2 dates kind of thing.
Okay, great.
We're
great,
just,
great.
yeah, sorry. We're just waiting on venue confirmation to pick which date works better for them at this point. And then we'll have everything on that.
Okay, so if we're in Denver, we'll either be doing ours on the 5th or the 19th. We're not traveling to the Western Slope.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, hey, we were our out of town is the 6th through the 16th. So it looks like we don't have a problem after all. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. That works.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
You bet.
Susan, you see the question about examples of soccer team challenges?
Yes. So, for example, one of the challenges might be there's 10 balls at the starting line. You have 20 meters. Your team will take as much time as they can to dribble the ball from one end to the other. You need to get all 10 balls from one end to the other end. That's an example of one of the challenges. For some of our higher level teams, it could be something to the extent of you guys are in a star shape and you're how many one-touch passes in a row you can get. Incorporating it where we have an athlete dribbling, passing to another athlete who's going to pass back to shoot and score. So it'll involve gameplay a little bit more than just kind of standing around going through the skills. Okay, let's see. David Riley, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Sorry.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
I was wondering about the I do flag football, basketball, and athletics. So how would I for the 2022 thing you're talking about? Would I have to pick one of them or?
Yeah. So any athlete that's on Team Colorado will just participate in one of the sports that's listed there.
Okay.
So again, we'll get some more information out that'll have some more details on that so that you can kind of make a better decision, like make the best decision on what works for you. And we can chat through that once we get closer.
And also the for the track and field, is it going to be kind of similar to what we did I guess it was last year? Similar like exercises hosted?
Nope, it'll actually be the events. So we'll be offering the 50 meter, the 100 meter, the 400, and then our throwing events and jumping events. So
you can't do those outside and everything?
Yep, doing traditional events. And we'll, if you guys are going to feel comfortable with it, we'll actually have a competition where you can come attend it and we'll do the timings and kind of do everything if it's something you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
Hi, Diane. Feel free to unmute.
Oh my goodness, this is too confusing for me. Hey, are you going to have in-person ceremony for the basketball skills?
Yes, that will be March 20th. Next Saturday, March 20th, and I will be.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you're gonna be on the ball for that one then, because we just barely sent our entries in.
Yep, which in retrospect, I'm realizing I should have got that information sooner so I can let you guys know about that. But I'll be getting out an email to everybody that has turned in scores, and it's all over our social media as well, to go
Well-
ahead, and it's March 20th, and it's actually going to be at our office this time. So
Oh,
we'll have a little more
okay.
flexibility. We'll have a little more space where we can spread out and have a little more fun, and
Okay.
maybe even let people get out of their cars besides people who hop out when they're not supposed to.
And take pictures.
Exactly. No, we're hoping we're able to get everybody out to take a picture, announce awards, and make it a little bit of a bigger deal.
Oh, okay, so it's okay to still decorate my car,
Of course, please do.
because
Yes.
I've got new plans this time.
Perfect. Yes, then please go for it.
Okay, yeah, because when I saw that it was winter sports, I wasn't sure. I go, winter sports ended a couple weeks ago.
Yep, it'll just be basketball. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I had another question, Susan.
Mhm.
Or it wasn't really a question. And I might have to send it back to you a different way, but I sent you my basketball videos, but I can't seem to find them. So I might have to get my mom to help me on the phone tonight.
Okay.
The ones I did.
Did you add them to the Dropbox link, or did you email them to me?
I added them. So what happened is I added them to the Dropbox link, and then the Dropbox had to go to me. So then I emailed them, forwarded that to you. So I can do it
Okay.
another way. You can email me later if you need to.
Okay. I'll check on that and let you know if I got them, and then we can get them uploaded.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Tammy. Okay, Tammy, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. You should be able to do that.
Trying. Can you hear
There
me?
we go. Yep.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
I'm with Pueblo Crush. I don't know if you heard, but Will and Norm retired. They didn't do anything in 2020. So now everything's handed down to me. So I'm trying to figure out, I have a lot of athletes that they're really anticipating this in person. They've been waiting for it. And a lot of them are not able to get doctor's appointments. So how can they still participate, but still, be able to check that off before the deadline for at least the regionals?
Tammy, I'm probably going to have you connect directly with Tasha. Tasha, do
Susan,
you have Tammy's contact information right now?
I can touch on this really quickly if you want.
Okay.
Yes, definitely connect with Tasha. She will be able to help you out.
Tasha? Okay.
Yeah, Tasha Noble. She's your regional manager in the Southeast.
Oh, okay.
Yep, we can throw her contact information in the chat if you want to reach out to her. But in addition to that, we have a 6-month grace period.
6 months.
It's been issued through Special Olympics International. So that grace period is reflective of the expiration date. So if they expire today, they have 6 months from today to be able to update their paperwork.
Will she have that information? Because I remember right when we didn't get to do state basketball because COVID shut everything down. So I know the same athletes that were doing basketball last year, we had a lot of updated. So their paperwork should still be good for track and field then, right? If it's the same athletes that were part of basketball last year.
That's right. And Tasha will be able to look all of those expiration dates up for you. So
okay, all right.
If you want to just send her any questions that you may have on your roster, send them her way, and she'll be able to
send them. Okay, and she'll be able to tell me which ones are really due for their physicals and now do they have to redo the athlete form every year? I wasn't too aware of that because I know my son particularly, he only did one athlete form and that's when he first joined. Does he have to redo, do all the athletes have to redo those forms?
They do. When they do go through the process of completing their athlete application again, we would like for them to complete the whole form just because there's so much varying contact information and health information will change from 3-year period. So it's important for us to get that needed information. Was
So it'd be good for all athletes to complete the athlete form then.
Yeah, but I would, those that have active medicals and applications on file, they don't have to worry about it until they're coming up on their expiration dates.
Until they're coming up on their expiration dates. Okay. All right. Because I'm trying to get this because I'm trying to stay on top of it and the dates are coming up like really fast. So I just want to
Yeah.
make sure. So
Tammy,
'cause everybody's happy and they're like, finally we get to compete. So
Sure.
Tammy, this is Tasha Noble with the Southeast. I put
Oh,
my
hi.
email in the hi. I put my email in the chat. I can also shoot you an email tomorrow and we can connect and make sure you have all the information you need in order to take over the team.
Yeah, if you could please, that would help me out. I do know I try to keep track for the last couple of years. I'm a coach. I guess I think my volunteer form is still good, but I'll go and recheck. I think you can check that for me too. Is that correct? To make sure that my
Yes.
volunteer form is up to date.
Yep. Well, let's connect outside of this and
Okay.
we'll just go through it from top to bottom. Make sure you're all set. Okay.
Okay, all right. And then I have a side coach. His name is Darian. He was supposed to contact you as well because he's going to be like another coach beside me. So we're going to be coaching
Perfect.
together. So,
Perfect.
and I guess my next question, because I want to go back over this real quick. Okay. Okay, for the May 2nd Grand Junction for the track and field, is that for our region or because I'm thinking I can't get all
Nope,
my
nope,
athletes to Grand
nope.
Junction?
That's okay. There is going to be a Southeast event. It's just waiting for venue confirmation before I send it out. I should hopefully have something here soon for you guys, but it'll be right here in the South.
Okay, so Grand Junction and the Denver, the May 2nd and the May 8th doesn't have to do with us?
Nope, nope. Something
okay.
completely different for just the Southeast.
Okay, so Southeast. Okay, so Southeast will get it our own date. Okay, taking my notes here. Okay, yeah, just shoot me that email or we can talk on the phone and that way I can figure out who needs what and get everybody. But can I start practicing? I guess that's my more concerned, even though that they don't have their physicals, can they still practice?
Yes, I'm sorry in advance for my daughters.
No, that's
yes,
fine.
you guys can start practicing. We will get in contact on who needs updated paperwork. And obviously, if we need to work together on that 6-month extension that Adrian mentioned, we have that in our back pocket, okay?
Oh, yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm trying to stay on top of everything, so.
Not a problem. I look forward to working with you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And that's all my questions. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Susan, is Jenna still here? Is Jenna still on or no?
Nope, I don't believe so. I think she has.
Okay, I can ask her the question I needed to later. Thank you.
Good. Uh-huh. All right. If there are no other questions, doesn't look like I've got any other questions. Last chance. We'll go ahead and end the call. Again, thank you all for your time, your efforts, and we look forward to seeing you guys very soon at some competitions. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Susan.
Bye, guys.